some of the things that I was going to say to lead into this press conference have been preempted, so I won't have to say them. But I think you've seen some of the new faces that you'll be meeting this week at the show, and you've seen some old faces in new roles. You've met Ron and Jeff and John, our CMO. But we also have in the audience Roger Levy. Are you here, Roger? Roger's the new addition from Lucent Technologies. He'll be overseeing our open platform solutions business unit. Is Kent Erickson around? Kent's over here. And Kent, you've known from previous brain chairs, is overseeing our workspace solutions business unit, as well as temporarily our system security and identity management business unit. So I'm sure you'll be meeting and seeing a lot of Roger, Kent, me, and other Novell executives in the next couple of days to talk about our strategy and deeper dives into our latest offerings. Now I want to outline the announcements that we're making here at BrainChair this week and go over them fairly quickly, and you should have them all in your press kits, and then we'll open it up for questions. As most of you know, we launched software for the Open Enterprise back in the fall, and we did that at BrainChair Europe. And software for the Open Enterprise is what Novell does. We offer enterprise-class infrastructure software and services in a flexible combination of open source and proprietary technologies. And this software helps customers manage, simplify, secure, and integrate their heterogeneous IT environments at low cost. And it helps customers reduce cost and complexity while increasing the return on their investment. Unlike others, we also help customers migrate from proprietary to open source at a pace that suits them, when it suits them. When we launched software for the Open Enterprise, we identified 5 markets that Novell plays in: data center, security and identity, resource management, work group, and desktop. Did I miss one there? No, I got them all. Today's announcements, and there are 7 of them, all speak to progress in these 5 market areas. Let's start with the foundation. Today we're announcing SUSE Linux Enterprise 10. It's the platform for the Open Enterprise, and SUSE Linux Enterprise 10 is, simply put, the best, the most advanced open source platform on the planet today, as Jeff aptly said. SUSE Linux Enterprise 10 is the only open source platform to offer virtualization, built-in application security, and integrated systems management across the full range of hardware architectures. New, heavier-duty workloads, critical applications, middleware infrastructure, and customers need a platform that can support all of that. SUSE Linux Enterprise 10 leverages open standards across IT to drive business innovation. It protects against security threats anywhere. It dramatically lowers operating costs to increase efficiency and productivity. It helps customers create competitive advantage. And with SUSE Linux Enterprise 10, organizations can better address the challenges of increasing competition, spiraling costs, growing security threats, and very demanding customers. Any platform is only as good as what it supports, and SUSE Linux Enterprise 10 is the most comprehensive open source platform in the industry today with the widest ecosystem. Beyond the operating system, SUSE Linux Enterprise 10 includes up-the-stack offerings, services, solutions, and technical offerings around the stack, a broad and deep partner network, and all the support customers need, plus all the backing of a broad and growing community. We have 2 products built on SUSE Linux Enterprise 10. SUSE Linux Enterprise Desktop 10, announced at CeBIT 2 weeks ago, and SUSE Linux Enterprise Server 10, which we're announcing today. SUSE Linux Enterprise 10 is the most comprehensive, best engineered Linux on the market today. It's got all the tools customers need for mission-critical computing. SUSE Linux Enterprise Server 10 includes a number of industry-leading improvements. We're delivering enhanced data center deployment and management. Virtualization is a key piece of this. SUSE Linux Enterprise Server 10 includes Zen 3 virtualization. We're one of the biggest contributors to Zen, and we'll be bringing this virtualization technology to market in a supported Linux environment a full half year before our competition. We are also supporting AMD Pacifica and Intel Vanderpool virtualization technologies. These virtualization offerings dramatically improve system utilization. We're also delivering improved performance and scalability. SUSE Linux Enterprise Server 10 gives customers advanced management, instrumentation, and monitoring tools to maximize the value of their data center Linux. SUSE Linux Enterprise Server 10 also has expanded hardware support. We're talking support for all the latest storage, networking, platform management, graphics, audio, Bluetooth, and USB devices. We've also improved storage capabilities, including support for leading high availability clusters. We're delivering unmatched security on the Linux platform. SUSE Linux Enterprise 10 is the only Linux server with built-in application security. And finally, SUSE Linux Enterprise Server 10 will be backed by the new Novell Customer Center. This is a portal that will provide customers with support and updates for SUSE Linux Enterprise, both the server and the desktop. It will deliver our full services, offer easy renewals, and provide integrated patch management, making it easier than ever to keep SUSE Linux updated, secure, and running at the optimal level. We're very excited about SUSE Linux Enterprise 10. I know we'll be talking to you more in depth about this in the next couple of days. So please visit the lab to see how this technology works in action. So that's the foundation. Now we want to talk about how we help customers better manage, secure, and make the most of their open enterprise. We're announcing today an agreement with Dell that makes ZENworks for Linux Dell's premier offering for Dell customers that want an integrated Linux management solution. And this is a big deal, a real feather in our cap. ZENworks for Linux Dell Edition gives customers integrated Linux management, helping them easily and cost-effectively integrate Linux into their environments. And consistent with our interoperability approach, we're delivering management for both SUSE Linux and Red Hat Linux. We see Dell's decision to go with Novell as a great vote of confidence in our tools for Linux lifecycle management. Also on the Linux front, we continue to grow our universe of software partners around Novell's Linux offerings. We've nearly doubled the size of our Market Start program. As some of you may remember, we launched Market Start just here last year at BrainShare. It's a program to help emerging open source startups get their products to market by tapping into the global Novell sales and partnering network. And today we're announcing that leading open source vendors, Alfresco, Black Duck, Enterprise DB, SpikeSource, and NovaCoast have joined the program. And they join AppGen, MySQL, Sugar CRM, Pentaho, Astaro, and Groundwork, Lumen, and OTRS, who are already in the Market Start program. The program includes the cream of the crop of open source applications. We're very pleased to be working with so many of open source true innovators, and more importantly, we're helping customers get access to and leverage some of the best open source technologies available. We're announcing today new solutions in Novell's security and identity management family of products to help our customers more effectively automate user provisioning, simplify single sign-on, and manage shared network resources. Ultimately, this translates to enhanced security and streamlined and automated business processes that deliver bottom-line savings. Designer for Identity Manager, based on the Eclipse open source framework, is our visual design tool created to help customers visually configure, customize, and test their identity management implementations, as well as deploy and document the solution for compliance processes and purposes. Today, we are announcing new features to make it easier to manage information in multiple formats, as well as simplify reconciliation, policy simulation, and debugging. We also are now including version control capabilities to help further streamline and improve the collaboration process. We've improved our single sign-in solution significantly. Novell Secure Login 6 now covers more than double the number of common applications and terminal emulators than the previous version. Plus, new wizards help users quickly extend single sign-on capabilities to additional apps. Finally, Novell Storage Manager 2, what we used to call File System Factory, now features support for multiple platforms, including Windows, Linux, and Novell Open Enterprise Server, an important enhancement that our customers have been asking for. This is the only policy-driven solution for automating storage management processes in the industry. With new support for both eDirectory and Active Directory, Novell Storage Manager 2 makes it easy for IT managers to provision storage to new employees, set quotas, monitor use, and automatically archive storage when a user leaves an organization. Taken together, these improved security and identity management products offer significant benefits to customers. Our security and identity business has been growing well over the last year, and new capabilities like these will continue to expand our leadership in this sector. Turning to our work group space, which covers our collaboration and integration technologies, we have three important announcements. First, we're bringing the broadest mobile support in the industry to GroupWise users. We have worked with IntelliSync and RIM, among others, to do so. Novell GroupWise Mobile Server, powered by IntelliSync, is now in beta testing. It delivers real-time wireless push synchronization of email, appointments, tasks, and contacts between a user's wireless mobile device and a GroupWise server. GroupWise Mobile Server works on smartphones, handhelds, PDAs from a broad range of vendors running on Palm OS, Symbian, Windows Mobile, smartphone, Pocket PC, and Sync MI. Adding to this mobility story, RIM will soon release BlackBerry Enterprise Server 4.1 for GroupWise. This will make it easier for organizations to manage large BlackBerry deployments, further extends the platform for developers, and provides integration with Novell's GroupWise Messenger for enterprise instant messaging. This increased mobility with GroupWise will help workers work more productively, as well as simplify administration and lower costs on the back end. The second announcement in the workgroup space is our new solution for workgroup productivity called the Novell Open Workgroup Suite. This new suite includes server and desktop platforms with complete management tools, email and collaboration, and office productivity software. There are two options for this Open Workgroup Suite. One that is targeted at customers ready to deploy Linux throughout their environment, the other for customers who choose to deploy NetWare as their main platform, with the option to move to Linux in the future. These suites give us competitive advantage on two fronts. First, the price is significantly less than Microsoft's comparable suite. More importantly, users can upgrade any of the components they want, when they want, and at their own pace. Novell Open Workgroup Suite gives customers the ability to control implementation and deployment cycles and drive one of the largest costs in the enterprise lower than ever before. The advanced network services in the suite include file and print, robust management tools, state-of-the-art collaboration software that are not available from any other Linux distributor today. The third and final workgroup announcement today is our roadmap for Open Enterprise Server. We're announcing plans for the next two versions of Open Enterprise Server. This work will focus on virtualization, interoperability and integration, security and collaboration. Novell has a large number of existing NetWare customers as well as new customers who are using Open Enterprise Server to gain the benefits of Linux without disrupting their existing infrastructure. And we will continue to deliver value to them. We're also announcing that we will support NetWare for as long as customers require, whether that's 10 years or more. And advances in virtualization will allow us to continue to support NetWare as long as customers want to run it. We hope this puts to rest any concerns about our strong commitment to our loyal NetWare customer base. So those are today's announcements. We hope you'll agree they paint an exciting picture of Novell, of where Novell is right now. We have great technology, we have strong partnerships, we have expanding leadership in our key market areas of Linux and open source, security and identity, as well as resource management. And Novell can give customers today the technology they need to solve their toughest business problems. With that, we're going to put some chairs up front here, get the key managers of the company up front to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack, and thank you all for your continued patience. As we put the chairs up, let me introduce a few additional executives who are with us this morning in the front row, available for your questions, should you like. I'd like to start by introducing our 3 geographic leaders. The President of Asia Pacific, Mr. Bill Hewitt, here in the front row. Our President of Europe, Middle East, and Africa, Tom Francis. I saw Tom. And our President of our Americas Geography, Susan Hasty. As well, sitting with those folks is Joe LaSala, our Chief Counsel and Secretary, as well. So I've introduced some of these folks to you. In addition, when Jack gets here, Ron Osepian, again, President, Chief Operating Officer, Jeff Jaffe, Executive Vice President, Chief Technology Officer, and now joined by Joe Tibbetts, our Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer. We are happy and willing to take all your questions. There's some microphones out in the audience, and with that, why don't we get right into it? That first one's always the toughest. Anyone want to...
Okay, let's go have lunch, then. No question.
Oh, thank you, sir. If I could ask you to introduce yourself and your firm, it would be great.
I messed up the lunch. Yeah. Rafael Peregrino, Linux Magazine, Brazil. I have plenty of questions here, but let's start with a question that I'm having for a long time. When we talk about desktop and enterprise desktop, Microsoft has one of the biggest advantages of Microsoft is that servers, laptops, and so on comes pre-installed in these machines. And now with the advent of SUSE Linux Enterprise desktops, and with Dell struggling to have a Linux desktop offering, I would like to know if this expansion you have in this partnership with Dell involves as well offering SUSE Linux Desktop 10 as an alternative for the enterprise desktop.
So just to make sure we heard the question correctly, one is, are we going to have an expanding relationship with Dell for the desktop specifically? And then 2, you made a comment, given the variety of Windows platforms in the market, that they also run on multiple platforms out of the market at the hardware vendor level. Okay. I'm going to take it. Go ahead. Okay. In terms of that specific question, we have nothing that we can publicly announce today, but what I would share with you is that we're, like our server business, we're having very deep conversations with a number of vendors, including Dell, in that conversation about what to do in the market. And Nat and the whole team have been down there, down visiting each of the key vendors in the marketplace. I specifically was in Europe last week, spoke to one of the large 3 vendors on the hardware side as well. So I know there's the opportunity here. We're just working through the when and the where parts of it right now. Nothing to announce today in terms of that piece of it. We have already had one success, though, with the desktop, with the state of Indiana here in the United States. It was with our older version of the desktop, and they committed to some 500,000 desktops, and that was on a Dell platform, just as a data point for you. So I know we're making good progress. In terms of the Windows piece of it, I think you're really introducing a very important point. As we all know, Windows runs on a variety of platforms, but also underneath it, Windows, there are a variety of Windows versions. And that's a very important subtlety. What Nat and what Eric and the whole team showed you was a really strong enterprise story. Specifically, we've got mainframe, SUSE, that runs on mainframes, on Intel-based architectures, RISC-based architectures. We have a point of sale offering or a point of service to include retail and banking, and we have a desktop. We have the entire enterprise play that differentiates us over anyone else in the marketplace, and we offer all that on the one SUSE code base, which I think is very impressive from an operational efficiency. That's a big, big difference as you speak to customers, because they're going to have to go through a major conversion to go to these new releases. It's not a migration. This is a conversion coming at our customers. And we think if you're going to convert, we have a very strong enterprise story.
I think I would add to that many of our customers tell us, and I think the analyst firms tell us, that 70% of the cost of an IT department are operating costs. And we believe if you can have one set of skills at the desktop, at the server, at the data center, and all the other things that Ron mentioned, it allows you to have one set of skills address all those opportunities and issues, and therefore save costs. Training costs, you don't have to have multiple sets of skills. We think that's a key advantage.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone next? Yes, sir. Oh, there's one behind you, too.
Hi there, Matthew Azett from Computer Business Review in the UK. Just to follow up there, where you were talking about the important thing about the versions, I just wonder if you can clarify the desktop versions given SUSE Linux desktop. What does that mean for SUSE Linux Professional? What does it mean for Novell Linux Desktop? It's a little bit confusing in terms of the naming.
Yeah. So I don't know, John, if you want to touch the naming piece first.
So let's just take the Novell Linux Desktop to SUSE Linux Enterprise Desktop 10. It's simply a name change to get consistent with the new platform that Jeff introduced today. Delivered in two flavors, a server flavor and a desktop flavor. So for consistency in naming those two products, yes, the Novell Linux Desktop you knew and loved will be renamed to SUSE Linux Enterprise Desktop 10. So that will hopefully clarify, not confuse that particular piece. The SUSE Linux Professional piece is a big piece of our OpenSUSE.org piece, and we use that as part of the community effort to actually get the code out into the community and take feedback from that and use that feedback both technically and otherwise into the commercial products we release into the marketplace, which are namely SUSE Linux Enterprise Desktop and Server.
Yeah, SUSE Linux Professional was a retail product. And when we introduced OpenSUSE.com, we allowed our customers to get it for free. So that's why SUSE Professional went away. They can go get it on the internet.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
David Eller with Rockdale Securities. I was wondering if you could talk about the size of the beta program for SLED 10 versus the prior version of the Linux desktop, and how far out is some reference customers for this product?
Is Jeff here? Size of the beta
Yes,
test?
to repeat the question, it's hard to hear in this large room. He's asking about the size of the beta program for SLED 10 and how it might compare to previous versions of that in terms of quantity. And then would you have any early preview of clients in the pipeline?
Yeah.
Best person to answer that is Nat, and I'm wondering if Nat has, like Elvis, exited the building.
Hey, Nat, are you back there behind us? Hey, could you magically appear on stage with and while you're walking up, could you make up a number for us that gives us the number for the SUSE Linux beta for the desktop? Right. So in terms of companies, 75 beta. I'm sorry, what is it?
Growing all the time, 120.
Companies, how many users?
Right. So what you're saying, Nat and Guy, is over 120 companies right now in terms of the beta for. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we have two different beta programs. The first one is what we call a notarized beta, which provides them direct access to NTS and many other features. That has 120 qualified customers. Those are sites. Out of those, we have everywhere from 1 to 15 people participating directly at the IT level. And the other one is the extended authorized, where I don't even know how many we have now there. It's well over 100 as well.
That's like a friends and family program. The extended authorized is huge now. So
right, that's what I didn't know if we had done a count.
That one is
on that.
hundreds, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay. And how far out are we? How much longer until we'll hear of some beta references or some reference customers for version 10?
Reference customers.
Yeah.
It's not a question for me.
Yeah. Right now what we've targeted is 20 key customers around the globe to come out as the betas. We'll probably target that towards the end of the year to make those customers public. We have the lists of the names, we know who we're tracking through to go get, and there are a number of those right now that we're starting as soon as we finish going through some of the beta pieces. Where we're after, again, with our strategy being at the enterprise, when we unveil these betas, we want to make sure that everything is, everything is as tight as possible for the implementation. And I'd rather make sure we take an extra 3 months to make sure everything is perfect before we go out to the masses with this type of an approach. Because we're going to get one shot at it, we know it, and we want to make sure we deliver it perfectly for those customers.
Please.
Hi, I'm Camila Fusco from Computer World Brazil. Besides the products, I'd like you to talk about services behind the SUSE Linux Enterprise 10. What customers should expect from services from Novell? If you could detail it.
Okay. I'll take a comment.
Just elaborate what you mean by the services and what we have.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we're just trying to get some elaboration on our question relative to the
Yeah,
services. Do you
I'll take
mean
it.
services in support of installation, training and education, technical support?
All right. So to repeat the question, the question was, what are the support services that we've got laid out? What we've done is laid that out globally. So our strategy is, it comes in a couple of layers here. The first one is what you would call your basic support in terms of security and patch update. That's kind of the level 1 of support that all customers in the open source community can get access to those security patches. In terms of paid services, what we do down the next level down is then we offer that full accoutrement of services for implementation, support, and the maintenance of the software. And that's really what Eric was talking about earlier inside of it.